So I have a question. Do you think it's possible to run a solo game using Mythic GME with zero prep? Like literally nothing prepped. Just open your VTT and just start playing? Well, I think that that's what we're gonna do today. Let's break it down. Well, hi, hello, I'm Turk, and welcome back to the Grouchcouch. Around here, we all different kinds of weird TTRPG things, but today, we're asking the question, can you play Mythic 2E with no prep at all and still have a good time? I think so. I think you absolutely can. And we're going to put that to the test, all right? We're going to figure out how it works, why it rocks, and what would it do, all right? Because a little bit of a talk here at the top, here's the deal, dude. Life is busy. Sometimes you don't have the time to brain power and build kingdoms in your brain and stat out full out villains and figure out what system you're going to play and what this and that and figure out a character. Who knows? What if we just really want to roll some dice and just kind of just imagine things? Is it possible? I don't know. But we're going to start with nothing, all right? A vague idea, just a random spark of something maybe that we want to do, and we're just going to improv it out because that's what Mythic is built on, right? So instead of prepping out our quests, we're just going to experience them here in real time. All right, let's get her going. Now, when I said zero prep, I literally mean it. I don't have a background. I don't have an overlay. I have nothing. Here with my camera. Now, all I have is, this is Foundry, all right? This is Foundry VTT. I've got the Mythic GME 2nd edition module that I just plugged into my ICRPG game book that I have on Foundry. I like ICRPG, especially when it comes to random rolls, because it's easy. You have a target number you got to beat. You don't got to worry about DCs or nothing. And you just kind of roll the dice and see what happens. And I also have a notebook module extension that I put on there as well. And that's what we're going to be using today. All right, we're going to type up all of our notes here. We're going to roll the dice there, and that's it. I kind of want to be able to show you guys the dice rolls and stuff as well. So I moved over the chat block a little bit so we can also see that together. Cool, so here's the deal. I think all we need is a character. And I mean, I also kind of want to test this just to see, like, do you even need a game system? Can you just play in general, right? So that's kind of what we're doing. Although I have ICRPG as a backdrop, we're just going to be playing in general. And what I think would be really fun is I would love to play a normal guy in a fantasy setting, you know, not like an adventurer, nobody crazy. I think we're going to play a farmer. So I'm going to put farmer in here. That's who we're playing, farmer. And you could also absolutely, in this situation, over my face, you could roll out names for your characters and everything else. So that's what we're going to do here. Element meaning names. What is our character's name? That's the first thing we're going to do here. He X. His name is Hex. Yeah, I'm Hex the farmer. Sure, why not? Maybe Hex is cursed. I don't know. Okay, and also, you could totally get, like, books that have adventure quest threads and things for you to go on and adventure ideas that you could roll on. You could absolutely pick up, there's all different kinds of awesome modules, especially things out of, like, Mythic Magazine and stuff. You could just roll up, like, what quest is Hex going on today? I could do that, but for the sake of this experiment, I'm not going to. I'm talking, like, no extra things. I haven't bought nothing extra. I don't have anything. All I have with me is my notepad and a D20 and the GME book. Can it work? So I rolled background for Hex. He is humble and experienced. What is he experienced in? I don't know. Let's also roll appearance. What does Hex look like? Tools? Messy. He's messy. Tools. Messy tools. That's the appearance. Messy tools. So maybe Hex is kind of homeless looking, I think. Messy in my mind, he has like some classic farmer overalls that are completely ripped up and stained. He hasn't shaved or cut his hair in a long time. He's got a big old long old beard and like crazy raggedy hair. But I think he's got tools for the job. So maybe he's got like a tool belt or something, you know, going around his chest. He's got all different kinds of tools, maybe like hammers, screwdrivers, stuff like that. But he is tools and messy. So now we could ask certain questions like, you know, we could even later, we could say, what kind of tools does he have? Does he have a pitchfork? Does he have a hammer? We can ask yes or no questions like that later on. Right now, we don't really need to worry about any of that stuff, right? This is kind of like our game. We're making it up, so we get to do whatever the heck we want. Welcome to Mythic. All right, where are we starting? Let's see here. We've got element meaning locations. We could do cavern, city, domicile, civilization, dungeon, forest, location, starship, or terrain. Obviously not starship. We could do locations though, so that gives us 8. So let's roll a d8 and we'll see which one will click. That is a 3, so we're doing domicile is where we're starting. Roomy, sparse. Roomy but sparse. Maybe we're starting his day off in his little farming hut. And it's fairly large, but it's sparse because it doesn't have much stuff going on in it. You know, like he's just got like a bed. Maybe he's like a single guy. There's a yes or no question. Does Hex have a family? Unsure. Yeah, exceptional yes. Hex has a huge family. Do they live with him? No. So he lives alone, but he has a huge family. Hex has maybe brothers and sisters. Maybe he has a wife. Maybe Hex has like 6 children with his wife, but he's living alone on the farm for some reason. Maybe he's divorced. Maybe she didn't like his beard. That's fine. So he's living alone. Maybe that's why his house is sparse, because the wife left and took everything. So he's just got his bed and his table, and he's got this big old farmhouse and no one in it. So he wakes up, he's kind of sad, and he needs to do some stuff. So I think we're gonna head into the city and see what's going on here with Hex as we wake up, get all our stuff together. Actually, okay, it's good news. Divide war. Oh goodness. I just rolled a check to see if there was a scene alteration whenever we started here today, because I figured that Hex is gonna get up out of his bed and go to his door, you know, to like head to the city. But when he gets to his door, I was like, well, is there a scene alteration? Does anything happen when he leaves his door? And we got scene interrupted. Yes, indeed, with a random event, and the interruption event was NPC positive, but it was divide and war. Divide and war. So, yeah, wow. There's like 5 different directions we can take divide and war. I think NPC positive kind of limits it down a little bit here, but there's no other NPCs that we have going on with us. So it has to be a far off NPC, one that we don't know about. We did talk about his wife. Could be something going on with his wife, something positive with his wife. Maybe something good happens because his wife hates Hex, right? Hex is real sad. So maybe this is a positive for her whenever someone is going to show up at his door. And I think Hex is going to get recruited for the war that's happening in the kingdom. So there's a knock on the door, and goodness, he's going to swing the door open. There's going to be someone standing there recruiting him for the war, like with a piece of paper and everything. And they're like, I want to know what they look like. I think probably like a classic knight character. I'm actually not even going to roll for it. It's like full armor. And they look down at Hex and see this old homeless looking man. He's not old. He's middle-aged homeless looking man. And they're like, sir, we have run out of fighters for the war in the kingdom. We are here recruiting all of the farmers. And I think Hex looks out and sees knights at all of the doors of all of his farmer neighbors. And he looks up at this knight, and the knight's like, will you come and fight? We are fighting for the divide. We are here to recruit you. You must come and fight for the king. And Hex is like, well, I was just gonna go to the market today. Maybe find a way to impress my wife. Is that a thread for Hex? Does he want to re-impress his wife? I think it is a thread. Maybe he wants her back. Get your wife back. Yes, that's it. We can put that down. So also here on this thing, it does have like a threads list, so maybe I should put it on there. Right here. Boom, bang. Cool. We have a threads list because we could actually roll. It's over my face. We could actually roll on this later. Get wife back. So make sure whenever we do this as well, we need to click update button or it won't save. There we go. So now if we click on threads list, there it is. So now we have a thread. Get his wife back. He wants to impress her and get her back. So I think he looks and he wants to get her back. So he's like, if I become a knight, do you think that will impress my wife? And I think the knight goes, well, absolutely. Knights are the highest of all seen in this land. Come with me, sir. And he grabs Hex. And now Hex is headed with all of these knights. I think they take him out to the road where they have some kind of transport. Do they have like a big cart? No, they don't have a cart. Do they have a bunch of horses? I want to paint this scene. No, they don't have any horses. Is this a magical world that we're in? Do they have like a magical cart that doesn't need horses to pull it? It's like Fairly Godmother type thing. It's like a giant pumpkin with wheels. Do they have that? Yes. Exceptional yes. The knights of this kingdom ride in giant pumpkins that have been carved out with windows and wheels, and they drive on their own because they're made of magic. For we are in the magical kingdom. And he goes out to these pumpkins and he goes, oh, this is a very good use for a gourd. He is a farmer after all, so he's like, you've done well with these gourds. And the knight's like, thank you, Hex. Please, get inside. And he sits down in the gourd. I'm assuming he sits next to other people. See, but then I say I'm assuming, so that's a yes or no question. Is anyone else in the gourd when he sits? Yes, cool. So it's not exceptional, so there's one other person in there. Let's pull up a description for them, because could be good friend. Might be nice to have NPC. What did they look like? Appearance. Lavish. Clean. Lavish and clean. Very clean cut, lavish looking man. Definitely not a farmer. Maybe someone that came from the kingdom, right? Someone who's coming to overlook these knights. What is his name? Anor. Characters. Look at that. We've got Anor, the lavish noble Anor. I think Hex turns, he sees him, he goes, well, hello, sir. It's quite a nice gourd we have here. And I think Anor goes, yes, well, thank you for joining the war. We have a divide here. There's been a divide between kingdoms. Those of ones who want to... What is it? Magical gourds, right? Big old magical gourds. So I'm going to take that as a tick for my story and say that those who want to use magic for all that it has, and then those who want to ban magic from the kingdom. Welcome to the good side, the side of magic. I am Anor. And Hex is like, hey, nice to meet you, Anor. Yeah, I've never fought in a war before. I'm more of a farmer kind of guy. But I would like to impress my wife. Well, fighting in the war is a good way to get your way back into the pantaloons of thine missus. Okay, enough of that conversation. I think the gourds take off. A bunch of farmers get in all of these pumpkin wheelie carts, and we head to the kingdom. And that's going to end our first scene. Scene over. One scene down. Look, we've got backstory. We've got a character. We've got an NPC. We know about this world. There is intrigue. We have our first quest immediately. That's crazy. That's so wild to me. So, let's talk about my takeaways here for a second. This is what I love about Mythic 2E. You could play with zero prep. I know a lot of time goes into prepping solo things. Like the campaigns that I've done, I've, gotten backgrounds and thought hard about my characters and, the story and where I was going to take things. And I think about it all week and I'd write notes in my notepad. I have a whole video about prepping proper for solo, which you could check out here on the channel. But I also wanted to know in the reverse. Could you just sit and play? Could you make it not ritualistic? Could you still have a good time if you did that? You know what I mean? And I think yes. I think you absolutely can. You could still stay in the moment. There's no pressure to perform or come up to it with anything. You just kind of play, And it kind of feels like you're exploring the dream in the world. Like I don't know what's in this world until we start rolling. We make it happen. And I feel like when you're playing in such a non-canon world and system that you can make anything canon, to make anything make sense. There's no lines you have to follow, like giant pumpkin gourds that ride with wheels. And it's fast. Like you could legit just get a compelling session going in 10 minutes, like we just did right now. My recording here is 20 minutes, but I know there's a lot of that I'm gonna cut out. So 10 minutes. So this system still is perfect for solo creatives. There's no boxes. You could just play. You could dream. Do whatever you want. Play in a Google Doc with an NPC with a list full of names, Goodness. Here's what I will say. If you want me to continue on Hex's adventure in my zero prep Mythic 2E game here, please leave a like on the video and let me know, and I will actually do a full-on series with Hex the Farmer if this video here gets enough likes, and you guys let me know in the comments. Abso-dang-tootly I will, but for now, can you play Mythic with zero prep? Yes you can. If you want to pick up Mythic for yourself or anything else TTRPG related, please use our drive-through RPG link down in the description to help support the show, and we'll keep doing it, right? So take a seat on the couch with my guys, my friends, and roll for initiative, at least for a little while. Roll on that, weirdos. I'll see you next time.